Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today I'm going to be doing an end of week 3 flip for you guys, and it is going to be over my weekly and my dailies, and I might touch bases on my goals section. So let's get started. So this week I ended up using a lot of highlighter, which is something that I typically don't do in my weeklies as much. The most I usually do is draw a line and then draw a darker line through the highlighter to indicate that there's a running event that's happening throughout the week. But for this particular week, I absolutely needed something to stand out to me because we had a couple of things that were happening that were kind of sort of important. So my husband had a test this week. I wanted to note that because I also had some of my own events that were happening, and I didn't want our events to clash together. So it was important that I knew what was going on with his schedule so that I could kind of base my schedule around that. But for the most part, I used highlighter this week to indicate what was important happening to me. And I also found myself not really looking at my weekly spread. The most that I would say I've looked at it is when I open up my planner and when I'm flipping through to my daily section. But for the most part, I didn't really look at this. I did kind of use my weekly section as just like a catch-all. I threw everything in here that was happening for the week. And as the week went on, I just put them in the daily spreads as the days went on. So let's flip to my daily section. So I'm going to flip to Monday of the dailies. Okay. All right. So here's my daily section. Very much still the same. It's still the same as it has been throughout the weeks. Excuse me, I keep coughing. I think I'm getting sick, to be honest with you all. But yeah, for the most part, it remained the same as far as like what I've been doing with these tasks and things like that. What I will say that I did do is my husband did have training this week. So for this entire week, I would write in a different color that husband has training. And then I would just draw a line all the way down because I didn't know when he was getting off. So I was kind of trying to pinpoint, you know, his starting point and his end point. Well, I knew he left to go to work earlier this week. So if I had anything going on, that I knew that somewhere around this time he would probably be getting off, but I didn't know exactly. So I just drew a line to kind of block that time out. Also, I started tracking my water down at the bottom. Now, I did this if there was space. So if I ended up using like a whole sheet of this, if there was just a tiny bit of space at the bottom, I was going to track my water. So I figured this is another way of how I can get a tracker into my daily spreads, very similar to what I was doing in my other personal rings last year. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, I started using my weather stickers about a week ago, and I just kept with that. I just kept with using the weather stickers, writing the weather in there. Of course, if anything was happening, like I mentioned, this week was kind of busy for us both. We had a spouses meeting. I actually highlighted that. There's also some time that I blocked off. So I had some weight training this week, so I needed to block off an hour for that. So what I did is I set a block, or I drew a block around the time frame. Now, this time frame also wraps around the time that my husband has training, so that's why you see that my husband has training right there. But really, I was just blocking off this hour for my own weight train, and then of course tracking my water down at the bottom. Now, I did put dinner in here, but I rarely can see what's here So I probably will always leave a line in between just to kind of indicate that this is not a task. It's just what we're having for dinner. But on my daily spreads, I have dinner and water that I'm tracking. And then I stuck around with the weather. On this side, I actually had to add in a sticky note. So husband did have training from 8 a.m. until, so again, stuck with the line here. And then also for my task, I just wrote out my task, wrote out the weather. And this particular day we had a store run. So typically I would use my list book, my store book that I always take with me in my book bag. But I actually wrote out what we needed because I actually had some things to do that required me to pick up some items. So I actually had to donate to Red Cross for my group today, or not today. What am I talking about? This week. So I wrote out a list of things that I could donate. And then I also wrote out a few things that we could pick up for our own personal use. Again, I still stuck with dinner. We had leftovers and then kept my water tracker down here at the bottom. I've been doing really well with the water lately. If not all, I've been getting half of the 8 or all of the 8 or 7 of the 8. So really good with that. If I had any additional notes, I definitely used this space. Something that I didn't mention up here at the top, it tells you in a little dot which day you're on, but I actually wrote some tasks on one of my dailies that wasn't for that day, and I ended up having to cross them out because they weren't meant for that particular day. So what I just did, and what I probably will do moving forward, is just highlight the week that I'm in. Even though there's a little dot there to indicate which day I'm in, I think I'm just going to draw out a blocked out line just telling me which week that I'm in. So now when I look at it, I don't, get confused as to which day this is. All right. So here's when things get a little bit different. So I started using the times. Not all of it, but for the most part, I started using the times on the left-hand side. So, again, I didn't write it in pink this time. I kind of just did away with the pink and just highlighted it in pink. But this is just my husband's training. He also had a test, so I made sure not to schedule anything that day. Tasks are still the same. I did prioritize some of them. And then what you see here in highlighter, dinner isn't supposed to be highlighted, which is this bottom line here. But what you see in highlighter is something that I was waiting on. So there was a package that was supposed to be dropped off, and they actually didn't drop the package off. So they left a note for where the package could be picked up, or they left that note yesterday. But on this particular day, they mentioned that they were going to do a re-drop off. So they actually didn't do this. So I highlighted what was happening with this package because I was tracking and keeping up with it. But for the most part, I had to be at Red Cross, and I had to write the times that Red Cross was available. And this was a high task priority. This was something that I had to get done because it was for a group with the spouses dining. And so what I did is I blocked out time that I could do this task. So because this is where it comes into our schedules clashing, because I knew my husband was going to be training for this week, I had to set aside time that I thought that he might be available. I did tell him prior to this. So in fact, if he was available, then this is the time frame that I could go and do it. I actually got to do the task. So Red Cross has been checked off and completed. Didn't get too much water in, but I did get half of it in, so no complaints there. Again, still stuck with doing the weather up at the top, but the only difference is I used a windmill and a kite. I actually ran out of the cloud and sun stickers. I do have some other weather stickers, but they aren't relevant to like the actual weather, and I didn't want to use those because if it in fact snows here in Germany, I haven't seen it yet. But if it in fact snows here, I want to use that or save it for that time frame. So I just decided to go with the windmill and the kite. Use a little bit of washi tape up at the top here. I just was trying to decorate these pages, you guys. It gets really boring when you consecutively do the same thing from day to day. So I was just trying to spark up this page with a little pizzazz. Just a little, not a lot. And yeah. All right. So you see how these two change colors? Before it was in yellow and now it's in red. So this is a caution item. So yesterday they actually didn't drop off the package. They actually took the package to a pickup location, which was a game changer because there was no notification that they dropped it off somewhere else. So I've blocked out some time here from when this package was supposed to be here, because now it's in the red. Now it would be considered 2 days late or 2 days post. So that is in the red, and I've blocked out the time frame of when this package would be delivered. I also had another package being delivered that day from DHL, so I've highlighted that one and then just drew an arrow down from when it was going to be delivered. So I knew that the mail would run at 1, so that's why it's in the 1 p.m. slot. And then I just drew an arrow down because I didn't know which time after 1 or right around 1 they would be dropping it off. Did great on water. I did super good on water yesterday. This probably was the best I've done in a long time. I've been doing really good, but this was by far the best. I actually hit my water goal and I actually surpassed 8 glasses, but I just kept the 8 there. Dinner, I didn't cook. We went to Vapiano's here. So yeah, I just put a little burger there, although they're not a burger place, but I just put a little burger there just to indicate that we went somewhere for dinner. And I just put in the words yummy or yum. All right, so here's today. Today we have a couple of tasks to do. Of course, I'm not doing them right now because I'm taking time out to do this video for you guys, but we have a couple of tasks to do. So I actually didn't make breakfast yet. So when I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and make breakfast and take vitamins and stuff like that. So I always put my task in here if I didn't already mention that. Today I have the pure cardio workout, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in my goal tracker. So I'll give you a glimpse of that as well before I end out this video. So today would be pure cardio. What I've been realizing is that I've been doing my workouts in the morning, the early mornings, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. But for this past week, I've been kind of slacking, falling off a bit, and just doing them whenever my body is allowing me to, because I've been so tired. Like, I don't know if you guys know that insanity is like a drainer. It drains you to the core. So I probably won't get this workout in on the time frame that I have scheduled out, but I'll most likely get it in at some point. We're also going to the gym today, so if in fact I don't get the insanity workout in, I know for a fact that I'm going to the gym and I can kind of get in my cardio there. But I'm trying to stay on track with the insanity because that's what's going to help me the most as far as like sweating and just losing the weight that I want to lose. But for the most part, I do have things on this sheet for today scheduled out. It needs to kind of be scheduled out a bit because we have to go pick up that package, which is here in red. And as you can see, I prioritized it as important, like an absolute need to be done. So it's number 1 on the list. So beyond all of these other things that I have going on, this is number 1 on the list. So if I can take a shower, go get the packages, then that's great. I will feel so much better once that's crossed off the list. Beyond the other tasks that I always have in here, some are a little different. I've been doing different things from day to day. I have running today, which is what I mentioned, going to the gym. So I just blocked out that time at 3 o'clock for about an hour. Don't know if I'll spend exactly an hour there. It might be more than an hour, but I just blocked out that time for the gym. And then down at the bottom, again, I have my water tracker. And then what I have here is just the tracking number for the package that I need to pick up. They may ask for that, and so I need to have that available. So that's it for my daily section. I'm going to jump to my goals section, and we'll talk about this for a minute. All right. So here's my goal section. This is my goal calendar, and it is a full year pullout, front and back. And I'll kind of scoot you guys over so we can see this a little bit more clear. So this is the month that I'm in, and this is where I'm at, and this is where I would be today. So for the most part, I've been consecutively doing my workouts for the most part. I've been doing them for 2 weeks straight. If I do it today, that would make 14 days straight. Or not 14 days, 12 days straight. I'm sorry. So, what I can say for the most part is this second week has not been easy, as I just mentioned, and next week would mark my fit test. So if you're wondering if I'm going to check my weight at the end of this month, you're right. I am going to check, but I'm not going to check once I get to the 31st. I'm actually going to check a little bit into February because there's a recovery week. So I'm going to check my weights and all of that stuff at the beginning of February, and then I'll write the weight that I am to see if there is a difference. Do I feel a difference? A little, not a lot. Do I think I've lost any weight within the last 2 weeks? Not really, but then again, it could be water weight that I'm losing. I did incorporate a waist belt or a sweat belt, but it's one of those like microfiber things. It doesn't really have like the rubbery on the inside. So what I'm thinking of doing, and this can be a tip for all of you who are trying to lose that belly fat, that stubborn belly fat that we just can't get rid of, is just getting a garbage bag and getting your waist belt and just wrapping the bag around your waist so that it covers that region, and then wrap your belt around it so that when you run or when you work out, you sweat. And so that's probably what I'm going to do today and to, not tomorrow, but next week when I work out, because I'm trying to really sweat that region. That's really the area that I'm most self-conscious about. And my thigh area, but really my stomach too. So that's my goal section. That's my check-in with that. And that's how far I have left to go in this month. So if you like this video, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, welcome. It's always great to have newcomers. If you're coming back, welcome back. As always, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me, and you guys have a good rest of your Saturday. Bye.